Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com, FightfulWrestling.com, FightfulMMA.com, with a face that you've probably seen a time or two on any number of those because he embodies crossover in the broadcasting sense. Cyrus Fees, how are you?
Doing great, Sean. Yeah, man, just dropped some pretty big news this week. So getting ready to head to Chicago. It's going to be a big Starrcast weekend. I'm pretty excited about it.
So you're handling some broadcast duties for Starrcast. Tell me how that deal came about.
Well, Jeff Jarrett obviously is a big part of that. So there's three people involved. You have Fight TV, and then you have Global Force Entertainment, and then, of course, Conrad Thompson. So everybody kind of joined forces on that one, no pun intended. And, yeah, it all came together. And as soon as I heard that Jeff was involved, I reached out to him, and I was like, man, I'm available that weekend. I want to be a part of it. And over a period of time, we made it happen. So I'm pretty honored to be a part of it. There's a lot of big broadcasters that are already there. So for me to get the nod over some of those names is great. Not obviously not demeaning them, but just to be able to do it with all of them being in the same place is pretty amazing.
So when did this deal get finalized? Was it this week as it was announced, or had you had to kind of keep this secret for a while?
Late last week. But yeah, I mean, it was over a period of time, and obviously compared to some of the people that are there, I've only had a cup of coffee in the pro wrestling business. Started off that really low key with some stuff here in the Southeast, but then I've just been doing MMA and combat sports for such a long time. I did the Global Force thing, so I made some really good connections with Jeff, and Jeff likes what I do, and he's trying to get me some more work and keep me busy, and that's like a dream come true for me. So it's all good.
You mentioned Jeff liking you. Obviously, you were a part of Global Force Wrestling's AMP tapings.
Yes.
So did you know Jeff prior to that?
I did not. I heard about it, and I just started hounding him, to be honest with you. I had a friend that had his email address. I started sending stuff in, and he had a really good rapport with me. He liked what I did, but I mean, it took a lot of hustling. And you can ask Jeff, and anybody can ask Jeff. Nobody's ever been as persistent as I have. It's because I love the business. I'm a big time wrestling fan, and I would have never got into MMA or fighting had I not been a wrestling fan. So to be a part of the business is amazing to me. I had such a good time on the AMP tapings, meeting the guys, working with the guys, and learning, the tricks of the trade and everything that goes with it, because it is a lot different than fight commentating. There are some things that are the same, but it's definitely different. It's a different world altogether. So
You worked there with Chael Sonnen. He was also on the air, did a little bit of character work. What was that experience like? Because he, like you, well, I mean, he was primarily MMA. You've dabbled in both. I don't want to say dabbled.
yeah.
You've been involved in both for so long. But this was maybe the first time that Chael really made the leap to pro wrestling work.
Pretty seamless, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good. I think it was a really good choice by everybody at Global Force. I think they saw that in him. It's something, obviously, his whole persona and everything that is Chael Sonnen is a direct reflection of professional wrestling, which I think is a really, really easy transition just in general. I think there's a lot of MMA fans that fight it off and say, oh, no, that stuff's fake, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, your Conor McGregor's and your Chael Sonnens and everybody that has a bit of a mouthpiece on them, that's a direct reflection of the business. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think they can coincide very, very well. And I think it's starting to get a little bit better in that respect because there's so much crossover now. I mean, it's getting crazy.
Couple more things about the Global Force Wrestling work that you did. They didn't air for a couple of years. What were your thoughts as that went on? Because I would talk to Jeff here and there, and he would say, "Oh, we're working on something." And then last year, he was like, "They will be broadcast somehow this year," and it ended up happening. What were your thoughts as that kind of time went on? And we were looking up and down the roster maybe last week. Almost all these guys are in WWE or Impact now.
Only that one big word, man, is frustrating. That I thought it had a lot of promise to branch out and do its own thing. And I think Jeff saw a lot of that. And he was literally, talking to these different companies, and they're giving him all really, really positive reviews. And this thing's going to happen. This thing's going to happen. But one thing you learn, and I've learned it through the MMA space, and now with the wrestling with Global Force, is that the TV landscape is very, very difficult, and it's really, really mucky waters, and it is really time intensive. And very rarely do you have a product that you can streamline and get directly on the air. So there's a lot of talking, a lot of negotiating, a lot of third parties that have to be involved. And I think Jeff was prepared for that, but obviously it didn't quite go the way that everybody wanted it to. But at the same time, I got to look back at it as an awesome experience. Obviously, you think about what could have been, but I don't think the door's shut either. Global Force Entertainment is a thing. Staying
I don't think the door's ever shut when Jeff Jarrett's involved.
Well, no, it never is, and even when he went into the Hall of Fame, there's a lot of people saying, well, he might go into SmackDown, he might do this. Jeff always has to have something going on. I've learned that about him. He's a workhorse. He wakes up 5 o'clock in the morning, and that dude is working until, midnight at least. He never stops. So I don't think, like I said, the door's not closed. I think Global Force could still turn into an entity. Obviously, there's some legal stuff going on. There's some things happening, but we'll see. I think Starrcast is a great way to punch Global Force right back there into the forefront. So I'm excited to be a part of that process for sure.
What were your thoughts when you saw Jeff appear on Impact Wrestling in 2015, then again in 2017 with the merger? Was there any thoughts maybe I could get involved in this as well?
Well, I mean, there were calls made and there were opportunities. The problem is that, I have a lot of jobs in MMA. Yeah. When this is your full-time job, anytime you give up, and I know you know this as well because you've done the broadcasting side of it, you've done commentary. Anytime you miss a show, that's an opening for somebody to take that spot.
That's how I got my jobs. All of them.
What's that?
That's how I got all my jobs.
Exactly. I mean, that's how I got my jobs a lot of the times. So, it was really hard for me to tell a show that's paying me a good amount of money, that I have good rapport with. Hey, sorry, I know you have me booked, but I need to go and do Slammiversary. That was a thing that was a thing that could have happened with Slammiversary and some different roles. And I couldn't do it, and it's one of those things where when you got a family you're taking care of, sometimes you can't quite take those risks. So I wasn't able to do it, and it hurt because I really would have loved to be there. Obviously, Impact is something I grew up with coming out of college, and I still love, the product to a point. So yeah, that one always hurts. But yeah, so it was crazy seeing him on there. I wish I could have been more a part of it. Unfortunately, I couldn't. But like I said, you never know what the future holds. So
Starrcast coming up this week as we film this.
Yes.
What all do you know that you're going to be broadcasting there?
So it's myself and SoCal Val. We're hosting the broadcast. So when you purchase that weekend pass, which I hope you will, $79.99, and you get a $20 fight credit. It's pretty amazing, especially considering all the content you're going to get. It's incredible. You know how many people are paying Patreons and doing this and that with podcasts right now. For you not to do this would be a total mistake. It's going to be insane. So basically it'll be her and I guiding you through all 4 days. In between the stage shows, we're going to be talking to different talent, different wrestlers, different personalities that are going to be there. And it is literally a who's list. Everybody you can think of that's not really signed to the WWE, every legend, et cetera, they're going to be there. So I'm excited as a fan. You can't help but to mark out a little bit. I'm excited as a fan, but as a broadcaster, obviously, I want to hit this thing out of the park and give everybody the most bang for their buck. And yeah, I mean, I just think it's really cool. I listen to the podcast. I'm sure you do too. So many of the ones that are being featured. So, as a podcast listener, as a fan, et cetera, it's pretty awesome. Great opportunity.
So this is going to be on the Fight TV broadcast, correct?
Yes, it is. Everything that I do will be on the Fight TV broadcast. Also, we are going to have Twitch as well. So there's going to be some stuff on Twitch as well. We're going to be on the main page of Twitch all 4 days. There's some separate Twitch programming that's going to be on there. So keep an eye out for that. There's going to be a lot of stuff. I think Lapsed Fan's going to be on there, and quite a few different things. That's one of my favorites is Lapsed Fan. I love that stuff.
I love their WrestleMania retrospectives they did with Dave Meltzer. Those were incredible. And for somebody who didn't come into I didn't really start watching wrestling until 1990, 91 as a child. Those were a great look back. So Starrcast this week. tons of stuff going on. I mean, tons of stuff.
Lots.
Let people know how they can order that.
Well, you just go to fight.tv. You can do it from your computer or you can do it from your phone. Either way, however you order it, it's going to go to your account so you can switch back and forth. I love the app personally because you can cast it to your TV very, very easily and very seamlessly. That's one thing I've liked about the app since the get-go. So yeah, $79.99, and then you get the $20 credit to watch any other pay-per-view or any other content on Fight. And Sean, I mean, there's a ton of stuff, from Ring of Honor to just everything, Joey Janela's stuff. I mean, there's just so many cool programs.
I call MMA on there sometimes.
What's that?
I call MMA fights on there sometimes.
Exactly. Well, and almost all my products are on there as well. I mean, Brave Combat Federation's on there. Fight Nights is on there. So there's a lot of the stuff that I do that's on Fight. But yeah, it's going to be good. The roast of Bruce Pritchard, super psyched about that. That's when it's going to be good. The Monday Night War debate, that's going to be on the first night on Thursday. I think that's pretty much the crown jewel of Thursday's broadcast. So that'll be Bischoff and Pritchard on opposite sides. That's going to be a lot of fun. Man, just a little bit of everything for old school, new school. You're going to have everything you could possibly need as a wrestling fan. So it's going to be off the chain, if you will.
So we're at a point in combat sports and pro wrestling where it doesn't seem like there's a lot of room for innovation. I know you were a part of Hip Show, which was incredibly innovative.
A hip Show name drop. Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
Is there anything that you've been requested to call and you're like, well, I didn't see that one coming? I mean, there are night fights, for the love of God.
There are. It's so funny. I do commentary even from my house, for some different shows. And I just did a Chinese kickboxing show called Glory of Heroes. And they had a traditional Chinese weapons exhibition. And I had no idea how to call that. I just called it the best I could. I'm like, oh, he's hitting him with a stick, and this guy hit him with a stick, and I think he won. They didn't give me any parameters. They didn't even give me anything to go on. But, I've been called to some interesting places. I've been called to go to Afghanistan for a wrestling tour, and I had to turn that one down. Didn't feel like that was necessarily a good trip I needed to make. But yeah, a little bit of everything. I'm actually just signing with a team-based MMA nation versus nation promotion called Kumite that's already come out officially, but it's in India. Mike Tyson's going to be at the event endorsing it. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be nation versus nation. But, I think Hip Show is probably the most innovative, wild thing that I've ever done. And I absolutely loved it. I think it had a brighter future than it's got so far. And I still think there's room for it, man. I think people love to see the 2-on-2 aspect with fighting, and it's just a wild time, and it really translates to a live audience as well. It is really, really fun. But yeah.
One of the things our catch wrestling coach used to do to kind of keep us motivated, we would have tag team grappling at the end of every class. And now I'm seeing that at grappling competitions all over the place, that taking an individual sport and making it a team aspect when you have to have those people to grow anyway. As a fighter, I mean, you're not going to get better by training with people who don't know anything all the time. So I think that's always an interesting aspect.
It is. I completely agree. And big props to Casey Oxenine, who I've worked with a ton, and you probably know well. That guy he took the Hip Show thing, and he did a lot of stuff with grappling as well. With the 2-on-1s and the 2-on-2s, and he's very innovative with that as well. And I think it's great, man. Anytime you can test yourself as a martial artist, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu grappler, et cetera, it's only going to make you better altogether. So yeah, I think that stuff definitely has a place in the sport and all that good stuff.
Cyrus, let the people know where they can follow you on social media.
So yeah, I'm at Cyrus the Show on Twitter and Instagram. And then obviously you can search me on Facebook as well. And man, definitely follow me this weekend because I'm going to be having a lot of exclusive content. I think a lot of it's going to go to the Fight TV social media. That being said, I'm going to be posting stuff all weekend long. I'm trying to get my fan base way up there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have everything. And I promise you this, I'm tracking down Brutus, the effing Barber Beef.
Ooh.
Oh, that's my guy, man. That's my guy. I already put this on Facebook, but Brutus, D'Lo Brown, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. Those are my three. Those were my guys growing up. I still love them to this day. They're all going to be at Starrcast. So I'm going to have a lot of content on all my social media. So make sure you follow it, and it should be a good time.
Cyrus, thank you so much.
Absolutely, Sean. Thank you so much. And make sure you tune in to Starrcast.